This video is sponsored by FreelyGive. If you need help with Drupal AI, get in contact with us. Today's video is mostly focused on developers and testers, but also product owners and project managers that might be interested in 1. Saving money during the development phase, and 2. Have a solid CI pipeline, so a continuous integration testing pipeline when working with the AI module. So I'm gonna showcase 2 things that are important when working on the AI module today. One thing is how you can mock responses. So you might be writing a contrib module for the Drupal AI. You're writing your perfect prompt. You have solved the prompt, so whatever you're using, like OpenAI or something, is answering correct all the time, but your code is not working, which means that you're trying to develop and you're sending messages to them or sending requests to them all the time, which A, costs money, B, takes time, which is just frustrating. So I'm gonna showcase how you can mock this up instead very easily without having to learn about Guzzle mocks or something like that, and recreating an API response for one of the providers, because that's just complex. The second part will then go into how you can use this in testing pipelines for kernel testing and functional testing. So let's get started. I have installed 3 things here. So the AI module, the AI API Explorer, to have somewhere where we can send our prompts, and the OpenAI module. So I have now then, in this example, solved my perfect prompt. It's a very simple one. In this case, write me 2 sentences about Lionel Messi. We just shoot it off, and you see it takes time, but we get a response back. But then maybe our code, whatever we're working on, is breaking, so we have to run it again, and it takes some seconds for it to run, cost a fraction of a cent, which adds up. Maybe you have to, you're doing something very complex. It takes 100, 200 tries that you send off requests. So how can we solve this? So in the Drupal module, in the AI module, there's a test section, of course, and we're running a lot of tests. And one part of what we have there is a module called AI test. And the AI testing module, by default, it's just a parrot module. So I will showcase that. So what it can do is that you send a request to the AI test provider, that is a mockup provider. It's just gonna give you an answer back with what you sent. So to be able to test it without running it in automated tests, you have to enable it then. But the problem is, you're gonna see here, it's not showing up. And the reason for this is it's actually not gonna show things in the test directory by default. But you can enable this by adding this settings extension discovery scan test true. So if you just set this in your settings.php and reload, all of a sudden it's gonna be visible. So we're gonna enable this now, and we're gonna use first of all then my prompt here to answer using the Echo AI provider, and that's the test provider, and it has 2 models. Doesn't really matter, it's just for showcasing how listing model works. And you see it answers super fast. So it's answering hello world input, write me 2 sentences about Leo Messi. So it's just copying this plus the configuration we're sending. Now when you're working with your module, when you're testing, you of course want a response that makes sense to you, because maybe you're asking for a JSON output, maybe you're asking for giving back tools or something like that. So I'm gonna show now how you can do this. So after you have installed this module, there's gonna be a provider setting for this, but this is not gonna be a normal provider setting, because it's actually not using a provider in the background, it's just mocking things. So what you can do here now then is you can turn on catch results. You can also catch processing time. So if you're working on front-end issues where actual response time might matter, or you're working with long-running tasks where the processing time might lead to timeouts and stuff like this, you can actually replicate this by turning this on. I'm gonna showcase this, and I'm gonna showcase how you can after you have built something, can turn it off as well. So after we have turned this off, we can just let's reload, take our thing here, and we're just gonna call OpenAI again, because what we want to mock up now is a replica of how OpenAI would answer this question. I'm just gonna click Ask the AI. We get a response back. I go back to this tab, and there's gonna be under Content, AI Mock Provider Results. This is only available as long as you have this module enabled, and you see we have our result here. So if we click on that, you can see the request here. You can see the response, and you have the whole raw output. So if you need, you need the system fingerprint from OpenAI for whatever reason, it's actually there. You can see what time it took, so 2.7 seconds. We can also, now when we want to replay it, change it. Operation type and tags, it's stored as well. But say we want to use that now, the only thing we have to do is click mock enabled, save it, and now it can start mocking it. Oh, what we should do as well, we should give it a name as well, so we know which it is. But what you also should do when you're happy with it, just go back, turn off this, and then it's not gonna catch these results anymore. So if we go back to the Chat Generation Explorer now and choose Echo AI, do the exact same message. So it has to be the exact same input. So it's finding it on that. You're gonna see it's loading exactly 2.7 seconds, and it's giving back the results exactly like OpenAI did. However, if I write messes here, you're just gonna see that all of a sudden it's using it the normal, it's using the mirroring method. So now we have created something that works exactly like OpenAI, and we can try it over and over without it costing money. Can also go in and edit and say now then we don't want any sleep time because we're just doing backend development. We don't care about the actual time it takes. If I click now, you see it's coming directly. It's super fast. So that is how you can mock up responses. The only important thing is, make sure you turn it off after you have catched your response, so you don't end up with a lot of unnamed responses and you don't know how to find the one you're looking for. So let's jump to the next thing, that is testing. So when it comes to testing, one thing I have done here in my response, I added 300 millisecond sleep time, so it's enough for the Ajax to actually truly load. It's not long enough that it actually becomes a problem when you start stacking tests. So what we want to do in this case is that we want to try that to see if the Chat Generation Explorer actually works. So you have an admin user that goes to this URL, puts this into the message, clicks Ask the AI, and should get back this result if it's using the Echo AI GPT tests. I have already written the test. So first of all, I have a runner here that I can run. Then I have the test. I'm not gonna write it live, it takes too long time. I will just show what it does. So it's using the function JavaScript tests. There's a base class in the Drupal AI. So if you're actually using Drupal AI for this, or you're writing tests for Drupal AI that's function JavaScript test, use this base class. I'm gonna showcase why. Then we install all the modules. So AI test file, AI API Explorer, and the user. If you're using the base class function, add a screenshot module name is good. I'm gonna showcase why also. So that is just for categorizing where screenshots go. We set it up. The only setup we do is make sure Echo AI GPT test is the default provider for AI. So that means if I were to reload this page, Echo AI GPT test would be there. So in this case, I'm not gonna test clicking around there. Then we create a user. The important thing is that it has the permission access AI prompt, because that is the thing you need to be able to see here. Then you go to Drupal, you log in that user, you go to this URL, and then you have this method, take screenshots, that is part of this base class. You just have to give it a name. You don't have to think about extensions or folders or stuff, just give it a name. So this is messy one before message. We then go to the page and we fill in the message. No, sorry, we get the page so we can actually start interacting with them. We fill in the message one, so that's the name of this one. Write me 2 cents about Lionel Messi. We take the screenshot again after it's filled in just to see that this is working. It's very good for debugging, but it's also good later when you're running this in a CI platform to see where something went wrong. We click on Edit Submit, so that is this button. Take another screenshot while the AJAX is running. We're waiting on the AJAX request to finish. Take another screenshot, and then the text should contain this, because that is part of, yeah, you can see here, should contain this. So if we run this now, this is just gonna fail because this runs, so our functional JavaScript test sets up its own environment. This means that what we did here before with the AI mock provider results, oh sorry, I have it there, this is not available on that website, so it's not working there. So how do I get that in there in a consistent manner where it always runs? Well, under the drop down here, there's export to test. This is gonna now export a YAML file. And the thing I need to do now is under tests. So this is a directory namespace you have to use. So you have to do resources, AI test request, and the operation type, chat in this case. And then you can just copy in the actual file, the Lionel Messi prompt, and you can see the file here. So if you want to change the wait time to 200 milliseconds, you can change it, save it here. And then we try to reload this, and now it should be aware of this. Yeah, by the way, I did a hard-coded thing here. That's maybe not how you should be doing it. So now it ran. And this screenshots, by the way, then if you want to see it on your local environment, you can use site's default files, simple test, screenshots. And you see there's AI API Explorer, chat message test. Then you can go in and see how it looks beforehand. So we're not using the base theme here, right? That's why it looks so ugly. But you can see it has loaded it. Second picture, it has filled in the message board. Third picture, it's processing the AJAX. And last picture, it got back the result. So we're testing end to end, so this actually works. I could push this, we already have tests for the API Explorer, but now I could push this. And the interesting thing is then, at least if you're using the AI module, but this is probably true, I think, as long as you use the GitLab template. If I go to any test here and take the PHP unit, so that's the part that runs it, we can go to browse, and under web, sites, you're not gonna see the messy thing. We have another thing here, default file. So it's the exact same place, simple tests, screenshots, and we take the AI API Explorer, Chat Explorer test. You have the actual images here. So for every test that's ever run, you can see exactly what's happened with your functional test. This is not available on kernel test, of course, but you can use the same methods for kernel test for replaying data. Yeah, so that is it. This is how you mock and write tests using the Drupal AI module. Thank you.